Here are a couple of steps that you can take, even if you've already started your planning process. First and foremost, set your calendar. And by setting your calendar, I mean start with the financial calendar and the commitments to the board and walk backwards to key milestones that need to take place in order to feed that number. But don't just do it with finance. Do it with the sales leaders, right? If you're a sales leader, you and your RevOps team can help guide this process and pull this together, where you're working through the calendar from the sales plan point of view, but tying it in with the financial plans and what finance is doing. Likewise, pull in the other departments, client success, right? Implementation, all of those others that need a tight alignment with that sales team, and build that into the calendar. Now, from there, it's important to line up your team and understand who's going to take part in this process and what their responsibilities are going to be. It helps to have a RACI chart, frankly, of who all is going to be involved and what are they going to be held accountable for, or who needs to be informed along the way of what's happening, right? So coordinating these things, usually with the RevOps team, pulling this together and coordinating this closely with the financial FP&A team, right? This is a critical partnership here in this process. Then we get to reviewing your current results. Chances are pretty good you had a plan coming into this year, and it's important to understand, how have you been performing against this year's plan? What's been happening? What trends can we find in what has been happening that will inform how we look at next year? Right? So look at the current results. Who's up, who's down, what trends are we seeing? Maybe it informs improvements that we need to make in training and so on. But there are some good insights to be gained from looking at this, especially as it compares to the last time you ran the planning process. There's another one here for documenting the system needs. Systems, in many ways, will host information about your plan. Maybe it's loading the budgets into the financial system. Maybe it's loading your quotas into Salesforce. Maybe it's updating territories in the system that need to be done. But it's important to understand what the system impacts are going to be, so that as you get to the next stage of building your sales plan, which is actually developing that plan and putting the numbers together, that you know what systems need to be updated to support you in that process and how. And then last but not least, understanding your new goals. Maybe product has a new release coming out that they want to make sure gets out into the market with certain goals. You need to stay on top of that, right? You need to understand, how are things moving around for next year and what are we going to be expected to deliver? You combine that information with the information that you're learning from reviewing your current processes to help guide what next year's plan looks like, okay? So these are some steps that you can take today to help bring some of your plan together in more tight alignment with best practices and start to break down some of the department silos, even if they're small, that may exist. And putting this together is just the beginning. There's so much more to the process, right? You have to actually develop the plan, negotiate with the board, then you have to release the plan to everybody, which we haven't even talked about sales compensation plans, right? There is so much to this. And because of that, we've put together this guide, the Annual Sales Planning Guide. It's a comprehensive checklist in PDF form that you can download for free, for you to be able to go through and look at your planning process and, number one, compare what you currently have in place to best practices. But number two, hopefully get some ideas for updates and changes that you can make to solidify your process and avoid some of the pains that we talked about earlier. Now, putting this together is something that we've done to help you through this process, and we offer it for free, completely free, on salesplansuccess.com. So all you need to do is go out to salesplansuccess.com, enter your information, and you'll get instant access to the PDF so that you can start your journey and start your planning process this way starting today.